What up, gang, man? Y'all see we back in here with another reaction video, man. This one here is dealing with cheaters, man. We're gonna jump into some of these cheaters and see what's going on in their mind, what they've been doing out here on these streets. But this one is called Cheating Wife Shoots Husband 6 Times. He survives, get out of the hospital, and kills her. So we're gonna go ahead on to see how this actually went down and see what happened, man. But look, before we get started, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, sub to the channel, of course. Turn that notification bell on to all, man. That way you get the notifications and let you know when you bought a drop, So we're gonna go ahead on and jump into it, man. Let's get it.
Find 27.
Hold up.
On March 15th, 2022. At approximately 8:47 p.m., the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department received a 911 call from Naima Hinton, reporting that her husband had been shot at their residence in the Peabody-Darst-Webby neighborhood of St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis.
The dispatcher noted that Hinton sounded distressed but coherent as she provided their address at 1423 South 14th Street. Officers Raymond Decker and Mariella Washington arrived at the scene within 7 minutes to find 27-year-old Jelani Drayton collapsed in the entryway of the apartment. Drayton was bleeding profusely from multiple gunshot wounds, including a critical injury to the head. He was unconscious but still breathing. Officer Washington immediately called for emergency medical services while Officer Decker secured the scene. During the initial interview at the scene, Naima Hinton, 26, told officers she had been watching a reality television program in the living room when she heard Jelani enter the apartment at approximately 8:40 p.m. According to her statement, this was immediately followed by the sound of multiple gunshots. Hinton claimed she dropped to the floor and hid behind the couch, fearful that the shooter might still be present. She stated that she waited approximately 3 to 4 minutes before emerging to find her husband wounded in the entryway. She then called 911 from her cell phone. Paramedics from the St. Louis Fire Department arrived at 9:02 p.m. and found Drayton with 6 distinct gunshot wounds, 2 to the chest, 1 to the abdomen, 2 to the left arm, and 1 to the right temple. The emergency.
Oh, bro. He survived that? Oh, 2 to the chest and 1 to the head. But that's almost like guaranteed death. Those spots is like guaranteed death spots, dog. God.
To the abdomen, 2 to the left arm, and 1 to the right temple. The emergency medical team stabilized him at the scene before transporting him to Barnes Jewish Hospital, where he underwent emergency surgery.
Wow.
The trauma surgeon, Dr. Vivian Cho, later reported that despite the severity of his injuries, particularly the head wound, Drayton had survived the initial surgery but remained in critical condition. Detective Keyshawn Germain arrived at the scene at 9:25 p.m. and took charge of the investigation. His preliminary examination of the apartment revealed no signs of forced entry at either the front door or windows. The apartment appeared relatively orderly, with no indication of a struggle or ransacking. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos.
That's crazy.
Detective Germain directed the forensic team to collect blood samples from the entryway, 6 9mm shell casings found within a 5-foot radius of where Drayton had fallen, and to dust for fingerprints on the door handle and surrounding surfaces. During a more extensive interview with Detective Germain, Naima Hinton reported that her husband's wallet, which typically contained between $50 to $100 in cash, was missing. She suggested this indicated a robbery but could not identify any other items that appeared to be stolen.
Wait. She knew exactly how much?
$50 to $100. Hinton reported that her husband's wallet, which typically contained between $50 to $100 in cash, was missing. She suggested this indicated a robbery but could not identify any other items that appeared to be stolen. No firearm was recovered at the scene, supporting the likelihood that the shooter had taken the weapon upon departure. The trajectory of the bullets, based on preliminary analysis by forensic technician Rafael Moreno, suggested the shooter had been standing approximately 4 feet from Drayton when firing. Officers canvassed the neighborhood, interviewing residents in adjacent apartments and nearby buildings, but no witnesses reported seeing anyone suspicious entering or leaving the building around the time of the shooting. Several neighbors confirmed hearing what they believed to be gunshots but had not looked outside, a response that officers noted was not uncommon in areas where gunfire might be heard with some regularity. Background information gathered by Detective Germain revealed that Jelani Drayton had been employed as a warehouse worker at Gateway Distribution Center for the past 9 months, earning approximately $32,000 annually. Naima Hinton worked as a part-time licensed practical nurse at Mercy Hospital, bringing in roughly $28,000 per year. The couple had been married for 1.5 years after dating for 6 months. They had met through mutual friends at a barbecue in Forest Park during summer 2020. Naima disclosed to Detective Germain that they had
Wait, they got married after 6 months, he said?
Per year. The couple had been married for 1.5 years after dating for 6 months.
Boy, that is fast. Yo. Yeah, that is not... Ooh, I don't know. So, I mean, sometimes it works out for the best, but bro, you get married after 6 months, but you still in happy mode at that time, dog. 6 months? Yeah, you still kind of like impressing each other during that time. Oh, yeah, that's fast.
Couple had been married for 1.5 years after dating for 6 months.
That's fast.
They had met through mutual friends at a barbecue in Forest Park during summer 2020. Naima disclosed to Detective Germain that they had been experiencing financial difficulties since Jelani's layoff from his previous position as a sales manager at Meridian Office Supplies in early 2022, a casualty of downsizing during the COVID-19 pandemic. His current warehouse position paid significantly less than his former salary of $58,000. This financial strain had reportedly caused tension in their marriage, though Hinton denied any serious conflicts. During the interview, Hinton also mentioned that Jelani had taken out a $250,000 life insurance policy in January 2022, at her urging, with Naima listed as the sole beneficiary. She explained this decision as responsible financial planning, particularly given their precarious economic situation.
That's always that's always the problem. Always the problem, bro. They go put them insurance policies out on people or on each other, and all they see is green. They ain't care about their lives no more. Whatever love they had for them, whatever love they could regain for them, none of that. Insurance policy? Oh yeah, they gonna try their best to get that. I guarantee you that's what that's about.
Financial planning, particularly given their precarious economic situation. On March 15, 2022, a shooting that would soon captivate the attention of St. Louis law enforcement occurred, leaving Jelani Drayton fighting for his life. To understand the full scope of the investigation, one must first examine the relationship between Jelani and his wife, Naima Hinton Drayton. In January 2022, Jelani lost his position as a sales manager at Riverton Distributors, a victim of widespread corporate downsizing. Financial records would later show that this job loss created immediate strain on the household. After losing his primary employment, Jelani, 34, took on a series of temporary positions before eventually securing more stable work at the Eastern Gateway Distribution Center, though at significantly reduced pay compared to his previous salary. Meanwhile, Naima, 31, continued her part-time nursing position at Barnes Jewish Hospital, working 3 12-hour shifts per week in the intensive care unit. Detective Keyshawn Germain of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department's Violent Crimes Unit was assigned to lead the investigation following the shooting. His first steps involved piecing together the couple's history and financial situation. Bank statements revealed mounting credit card debt, with 3 missed mortgage payments on their modest home in the Benton Park West neighborhood. The forensic analysis conducted by the department's ballistics team confirmed that Jelani had been struck by 6 9mm bullets fired at close range from what was later identified as a Glock 19 handgun. 1 bullet had entered his head near the left temple, while 5 others were clustered in his torso. The proximity of the shooter suggested either an ambush or that Jelani had known his attacker. Jelani's brother, Darnell Drayton, provided investigators with valuable background information. According to Darnell, the couple had been experiencing frequent arguments, primarily regarding their financial difficulties. Notably, Darnell mentioned that Naima had been particularly insistent about taking out a life insurance policy on Jelani. Records confirmed that a $250,000 policy had been finalized in January 2022, just 2 months before the shooting, with Naima listed as the sole beneficiary. Interviews with neighbors painted contrasting pictures of the couple. Calvin Rogers, who lived next door, described Jelani as the quiet, hard-working guy who seemed to be under a lot of pressure lately. Conversely, Naima was characterized by several neighbors as outgoing but increasingly detached in recent months. Marissa Patterson, who lived across the street, reported seeing Naima leaving the house at unusual hours, often dressed formally as if going somewhere special. Detective Germain also questioned Naima's co-worker, Tara Lyman, a registered nurse who had worked alongside her for 3 years. Lyman recalled several instances where Naima had complained about Jelani's inability to maintain financial stability. She would sometimes say things like, "I didn't sign up for this," or "This isn't what I expected when we got married," Lyman stated. However, he could provide no specific information regarding the day of the shooting. The physical evidence at the scene included blood spatter patterns in the entryway of the couple's home and Naima's fingerprints on a side table near where Jelani had fallen. When questioned about these prints, Naima explained that she regularly used that table to place her keys and purse when entering the home, an explanation that aligned with typical household patterns. As the investigation progressed, Jelani's medical condition remained critical. He had been placed in a medically induced coma at Mercy Hospital, St. Louis, with doctors unable to provide a definitive prognosis.
So wait, they couldn't tell, like, which direction it came from? That's the part I'm still puzzled on. Like, if she was already in the house, I'm sure they can tell if, you know what I'm saying, like, which direction the bullet was coming from. Like, because if he got hit in the chest and he walking in the house, that should tell you a lot right there. Like, that wasn't nobody that came up from behind him or nothing. That's somebody that's already in the house.
The uncertainty of his survival shifted some focus of the investigation toward gathering evidence while waiting to see if Jelani would recover consciousness and potentially identify his attacker. By March 25, 2022, the investigation into the shooting of Jelani Drayton in St. Louis had reached a critical impasse. Detective Keyshawn Germain of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department found himself scrutinizing inconsistencies in Naima Hinton's account of the events of February 17th. Jelani remained in a comatose state at Barnes Jewish Hospital, unable to provide investigators with his version of what transpired that evening. Several elements of Naima's testimony raised questions among investigators. She claimed to have hidden behind their living room couch during the attack, yet forensic teams found no fingerprints, fibers, or other evidence indicating her presence there. Additionally, officers who interviewed Naima in the hours following the shooting noted her unusually composed demeanor, which contrasted sharply with the expected psychological response to witnessing a violent attack on a partner. On March 30th, 2022, Detective Germain conducted an interview with Jelani's mother, Tamaria Fulton, at her residence in University City. During this conversation, Tamaria revealed that Naima had approached her about potentially removing Jelani from life support just 3 days after his admission to the hospital, citing...
Wow. I mean, bro, she just telling on herself in so many ways. It's like she ain't even trying. My girl talking about pulling the plug on my man already? 3 days? Wow, bro.
Jelani's mother, Tamaria Fulton, at her residence in University City.
3 days, bro.
During this conversation, Tamaria revealed that Naima had approached her about potentially removing Jelani from life support just 3 days after his admission to the hospital, citing prohibitive medical costs and poor prognosis. Tamaria strongly opposed this suggestion, insisting that her son deserved every chance at recovery. Hospital staff later confirmed to investigators that despite public displays of concern, Naima visited Jelani infrequently. Between February 18th and April 1st, 2022, she appeared at the hospital only 4 times, with each visit lasting less than 30 minutes. Financial records obtained through subpoena revealed that...
Dang, so all she was really doing is just coming to see if he was still alive or not. That's basically what you're doing. And how you go there? How you tell your mother-in-law that? That's that woman's son. Like, how you gonna go there and tell her something like that about taking him off the life support? You crazy as hell.
2022,
Crazy.
She appeared at the hospital only 4 times, with each visit lasting less than 30 minutes.
Man.
Financial records obtained through subpoena revealed that on April 5th, 2022, Naima received a partial payout of $50,000 from Jelani's life insurance policy, which listed her as the primary beneficiary. The insurance company approved this partial distribution, citing Jelani's critical condition. Within 2 weeks, Naima used these funds to eliminate outstanding credit card debt and automobile loans. Detective Germain brought Terrell Lyman in for additional questioning on April 12, 2022. A deeper examination of phone records uncovered a series of text messages between Terrell and Naima dating back to January 2022. These communications contained flirtatious exchanges and references to meeting in private, suggesting an extramarital relationship. When confronted with this evidence, Terrell acknowledged a friendship with Naima but denied any romantic involvement or knowledge of the shooting. Multiple canvasses of the neighborhood produced no witnesses who observed anyone fleeing the scene on February 17th. Additionally, Jelani's wallet, which Naima claimed was stolen during the robbery, was never recovered from any pawnshops, resale venues, or discarded in the surrounding areas. By June 2022, with Jelani still unconscious and leads exhausted, the investigation lost momentum. Naima sold their home in July 2022 for $285,000 and relocated to Kailua, Oahu, Hawaii, with an unidentified male companion.
What?
When questioned about this move, she stated she needed a fresh start away from painful memories. The St.
Wait. Bro, this is red flags everywhere, bro. Red flags is flying all through her system right now. It's stamped on her head. It's stamped on her head, bro. I'm talking about guilty as hell.
Naima sold their home in July 2022 for $285,000 and relocated to Kailua, Oahu, Hawaii, with an unidentified male companion. When questioned about this move, she stated she needed a fresh start away from painful memories. The St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department officially classified the case as inactive on August 15, 2022, redirecting resources to more recent violent crimes. On December 12, 2022, medical staff at Barnes Jewish Hospital in St. Louis, Missouri, documented an unexpected development in the case of Jelani Drayton. The 37-year-old construction worker regained consciousness after spending nearly 9 months in a coma following the March 15, 2022 shooting that left him with severe head and torso injuries.
9 months.
Dr. Marcus Winslow, the neurologist overseeing Drayton's care, had previously informed the family that recovery chances were below 15% given the extensive brain trauma.
Wow.
Tamaria Fulton, Drayton's 58-year-old mother, had maintained a consistent presence at the hospital since the incident. Hospital records indicate she visited her son 6 days per week, often bringing personal items and speaking to him despite his unresponsive state. Nursing staff noted that Fulton frequently played recordings of Drayton's favorite jazz albums during these visits. Following his emergence from the coma, Drayton began an intensive rehabilitation program under the supervision of Dr. Eleanor Reed, a specialist in traumatic brain injury recovery. Medical records show Drayton initially struggled with basic motor functions and experienced significant speech impairment. By March 2023, after 3 months of daily physical and speech therapy, he had regained partial mobility and could communicate with short sentences. though he continued to exhibit right-side weakness and occasional aphasia.
Damn.
During this recorded interview, Drayton, still visibly weakened and using a walker, provided his first account of the shooting. He stated that his wife, Naima Hinton, 34, was the person who shot him as he entered their home on Page Avenue after returning from his night shift. Drayton described hearing Hinton call his name before seeing her holding a handgun. According to his statement, the first bullet struck his head, followed by 5 more shots to his torso as he collapsed to the floor. I remember her standing over me, Drayton told Detective Germain in the interview transcript. She watched me bleed for maybe 10 minutes before calling 911. When questioned about why he hadn't shared this information with authorities earlier, Drayton explained that he feared no one would believe him given his wife's respected position as a procurement specialist at Mercy Hospital. He had disclosed the information only to his mother upon regaining sufficient speech capabilities. Fulton then informed him.
Stood over him for 10 minutes watching him bleed out. So she was hoping that that was enough blood for him to not even be able to be, saved. Or hoping that he died within them 10 minutes. Dude. Bro, yeah, she is evil, bro.
Mother upon regaining sufficient speech capabilities.
She evil, man.
Fulton then informed him that Hinton had sold their home for $285,000 in July 2022 and relocated to Hawaii with her fitness instructor, Terrell Lyman, 29.
Wow.
Detective Germain proceeded to re-examine the physical evidence collected from the scene. A significant development emerged when investigators examined Drayton's hospital records more closely. On May 15, 2022, when Drayton was still comatose, a security camera in his hospital room captured Hinton visiting alone at approximately 2:17 a.m. The footage shows her checking the hallway before approaching Drayton's ventilator and disconnecting it for approximately 47 seconds. Nurse Kanaya Tavon entered the room during a routine check, immediately reconnected the device, and documented the incident as a possible equipment malfunction in the medical log. Insurance documents obtained through subpoena revealed that Hinton had received a $50,000 preliminary payment from Drayton's life insurance policy, with the remaining $450,000 contingent upon his death. The policy, purchased 6 months before the shooting, listed Hinton as the sole beneficiary. Drayton, according to his mother's later statement to authorities, became increasingly fixated on what he perceived as a betrayal by his wife. While appearing to focus on his rehabilitation to family members, he secretly made arrangements to travel to Hawaii. Cell phone records show he purchased a one-way ticket to Honolulu on June 12, 2024, using a prepaid credit card. He informed his physical therapist he would be taking a break from rehabilitation sessions. On June 20, 2024, Honolulu Police Department officers responded to a call from a neighbor reporting a disturbance at Hinton's apartment on Kalakaua Avenue. They discovered Hinton's body in her living room. The medical examiner's report documented the cause of death as manual strangulation, with defensive wounds on her hands and arms. DNA analysis identified skin cells under Hinton's fingernails matching Drayton's genetic profile. Surveillance footage from Hinton's apartment building captured a man matching Drayton's description entering the building at 8:42 p.m. and leaving at 9:27 p.m. on the night of her death. Honolulu authorities issued an arrest warrant for Drayton, but he had vanished, with no record of departure from the island through commercial transportation. The parallel investigations into Jelani Drayton's shooting and Naima Hinton's murder converged in late 2024, bringing closure to a case that had spanned more than 2 years across multiple jurisdictions. What began as an apparent robbery in St. Louis ultimately connected to a homicide in Honolulu through a web of evidence that investigators painstakingly assembled. The breakthrough came in September 2024 when a severe thunderstorm dislodged crucial evidence. A Glock 9mm handgun was recovered from a neighbor's roof near the original crime scene. Forensic analysis confirmed it was the weapon used in Jelani's shooting, with 6 bullets matching those removed from his body during surgery. More significantly, the gun bore Naima Hinton's fingerprints. Further investigation revealed that Terrell Lyman, an associate of Naima's with a minor criminal record, had illegally purchased the firearm through a straw buyer arrangement at a gun show in Illinois in January 2022.
Dang.
When confronted with the evidence, Lyman provided a sworn statement confirming that he had given the weapon to Naima several weeks before the shooting as part of their plan to stage a robbery and file a fraudulent insurance claim. She needed money badly, Lyman stated in his official testimony. The plan was never supposed to involve shooting anyone, especially not Jelani. She told me afterward that things went wrong when he fought back. Hospital records from Barnes Jewish Hospital, where Jelani had spent 3 months recovering from his injuries, contained another disturbing piece of evidence. Nurse Kanaya Tavon had documented an unusual incident in May 2022 when she discovered Naima attempting to disconnect Jelani's ventilator during a late-night visit. Hospital security had escorted Naima from the premises, but no charges were filed at that time as Jelani remained unconscious and unable to provide testimony. Meanwhile in Honolulu, Detective Terrell Jakes led the investigation into Naima Hinton's June 19, 2024 strangulation death at the Ala Moana Hotel. The autopsy conducted by Dr. Michelle Kamahele revealed defensive wounds on Naima's hands and arms, with DNA samples collected from beneath her fingernails matching Jelani Drayton. Flight records confirmed that Jelani had arrived in Oahu on June 18, 2024, and departed on June 21, 2024. Hotel security footage showed Jelani entering Naima's room at 9:47 p.m. on June 19th and leaving at approximately 10:35 p.m. Naima's body was discovered the following morning by housekeeping staff after she failed to check out as scheduled. The Honolulu Police Department coordinated with St. Louis authorities, leading to Jelani's arrest in Missouri on September 10, 2024. Prosecutors charged Jelani with second-degree murder while simultaneously closing the investigation into his own shooting by posthumously implicating Naima. The case went to trial on November 15, 2024, at the St. Louis Circuit Court with Judge Raymond Ortiz presiding. Prosecutor Latrice Fulton presented the state's case, arguing that Jelani had traveled to Hawaii with the premeditated intent to kill Naima as revenge for his shooting and near-death experience. This was a calculated act of vengeance, Fulton told the jury during opening statements. Mr. Drayton tracked Ms. Hinton to Hawaii and confronted her in her hotel room with the express purpose of taking her life. Defense counsel Zuri Drayton, no relation to the defendant, constructed a different narrative. What happened in that hotel room was not murder, but self-defense, she countered. The defense presented evidence of defensive bruising on Jelani's forearms and introduced a critical piece of evidence overlooked in the initial investigation, a kitchen knife found near Naima's body bearing her fingerprints. Jelani testified in his own defense, stating, "I went there to confront her, to get answers about why she shot me. I needed to hear it from her. When I told her I knew what she had done, she grabbed a knife from her luggage and came at me. We struggled, and I was just trying to stop her from stabbing me." The defense established that Jelani had no prior criminal record and had been employed as an accounting specialist at Meridian Financial Services before the shooting left him partially disabled. Character witnesses testified to his nonviolent nature and community involvement. After 7 days of testimony and a week of deliberation, on December 20th, 2024, the jury returned a verdict of not guilty, accepting the self-defense claim.
What?
Naima Hinton faced no trial for her role in Jelani's shooting due to her death, though the St. Louis District Attorney's Office formally closed the case by listing her as the perpetrator. "Justice took too long," she said in a brief statement outside the courthouse. "My son nearly died, then had to fight to prove his innocence. The system failed us multiple times."
Bruh.
Top 10 actors who actually did it on.
Crazy, man. And he still got, he got away with it, but like they said, he had to fight for it. I mean, who wouldn't have to? You know what I'm saying? Like, you went up there, and in their mind, you got intentions on revenge. Like, you trying to get your get back, you know? But he got off on it, though, because they said there was one little piece of evidence that actually saved him from, I guess spending the rest of his life in jail, bro. And I mean, I'm glad it worked out for him like that, but I wish this whole situation would have went in that direction, though, bro. That is crazy, man. All that, my girl still didn't get the full. I don't think she still didn't get the full amount that she was going for. You know, so I mean, it still would have. I think it would have still caught up with her at the end of the day, but um, it didn't work out for her. That's for sure. She went through all of that for nothing, man. So, but you know, I guess that's how the game go, man. But I like that. I like the storytelling that was going on in this, but I don't like what happened. I just like how he explained it and everything. So if y'all got another one for your boy, y'all already know what to do. Drop it in the comment section, and we'll get on it, man. All right. So I will catch y'all on the next one. All right. Out.